This is by far one of my favorite episodes of the year. This is our third time at the College of Business at the University of Central Florida, where we have no idea what the topic of conversation is going to be, because we are going to let 100 future leaders, College of Business graduates, ask their questions. And John and I are going to do our best to answer them openly, honestly, as we continue to help shape the future of all industries. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
We are back at the Exchange, University of Central Florida,
some noise,
College of
students.
Business. Come on, let's let them hear it. There we go.
Shit is so stupid.
What's stupid, them or you?
Both of us.
Yeah,
Together.
both of you together. Yeah, I think they all got a little bit dumber by you and I walking
It's
in.
fine. They'll learn something, though, by the end of the day.
No, shout out to Justin. Shout out to the entire team at University of Central Florida. It's my alma mater. It's where my son goes. It's I bleed black and gold. But it's one of our favorite episodes to do because these men and women represent the future of all industries.
Yeah, they have no idea what life is about.
They don't,
No
right? They are
fucking
bright-eyed. They're bushy-tailed.
Stupid.
What's that? A
I
little
said, yeah,
naive.
naive is the right word.
Yeah, but they're also not jaded like you are.
Because I'm smart and I've been out of college for like a decade and a half.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. A decade and a half.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do for the audience. Like, we didn't come with some agenda.
We never come prepared, Dustin, just with a catch box from my boy Justin.
We do have the catch box. The catch box is pretty cool if you want to buy one on Amazon. It is basically a speaker that looks like a child's toy that you can
For children to answer questions.
that you can throw around. And in case it hits someone in the head, hopefully it will not concuss them.
That's fine.
But what we're going to do is we're going to hope that people raise their hands. And we prep the audience, by the way, for those that are tuning in on YouTube or Spotify or Apple. Please know you can't see them on camera. We are in front of 100 students who, not one of them came here because they wanted to be here.
Stumbled in here because they went hard last night. What is it, Tuesday night? Is Tuesday night the hard night to go? Where'd y'all go last night? Give me a round of hands. Who partied hard last night? Nobody? Yes! These two. Where did you do? Where did you go?
Went to bounce?
Still bounce is still the spot to go. Y'all need some better shit over here.
Yeah. Well,
Speaking of which, tuition
it's either that or go downtown.
Psych, ain't
And
nobody going
going
downtown.
downtown is
Stop,
difficult if
stop.
you're under 21.
No, it's not.
Well, I'm just saying.
They don't-
Go
the
okay.
fuck? No, it's
all
not.
right. Whatever.
Yeah.
But so let me, for those that are like watching, they can't see the 100 plus students that are in here, and none of them are here because they want to be. They're here because they're getting a class credit. They all have a piece of paper that John and I have to sign.
Who's graduating? Who's graduating in like 2 months? They're already checked out. They could give a shit. This is going to be
3
great.
months. Okay.
3 months.
So, but what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to not suck. We're going to do our best to answer their questions, give them some career advice, give them some life advice based on our experiences, maybe even give them some business advice. And our one caveat is kind of like every time I travel the country to speak, I tell people like a couple things. I promise not to suck. And I also promise that I'm going to tell you the world according to me, but the world according to me might not be your same experiences. And my way is not the only way, but my way is definitely a real life experience that we all can learn from. So on that note, who wants to go first? Who has a question? Nice.
Oh, wow.
One
He
of the
was
guys
ready.
graduating. You can't throw that far. Can I throw it for you? And just like that,
Damn, it broke?
John Coleman has already broke the
shit.
microphone.
Well,
all right.
that's their tuition dollars hard at work.
So I'll take this one because it doesn't pertain to
Anything
aliens, drugs, or video games.
That's my specialty,
That's
everybody, so
basically
hit me up
John's
if you need
specialty.
that.
Yep. So mortgage related. So the question was for those that maybe couldn't pick it up on the microphone. The question was in today's market, right? So we're recording this in April of 2025. In today's market, what type of advice are we giving to potential home buyers with the volatility in the market, right? Here's what I've learned about purchasing a home. When you're ready, you buy a house. The same thing goes for getting married. The same thing goes for having children. When you're ready, you'll never be ready if you wait for that. Like that's somebody waiting back for like perfection. And we teach all people in sales. We teach them in business, like perfection's the enemy of done. No, sometimes we got to get that shit done if the timing is there. So the advice I give to anyone who's looking to navigate purchasing a home, first thing I would ask them is, are you gainfully employed? with consistent income. So that's like, can you check that box? If the answer is yes, we'll move on to the next question. The next question would be, do you like this area enough that you plan on living here minimum of 3, preferably 5 years? And the reason why I say 3 to 5 years is it costs money to acquire real estate and it costs money to exit out of real estate, right? You're going to pay upwards of 3% of the purchase price just in closing costs to buy the property. Then you're going to pay about 5% of the sale price when you exit out of it, right? So you have to be in a home long enough that 8% that you gave up through the acquisition and through the disposition, you can at least cover that. And typically, homes are going to appreciate by 2 to 3% annually, right? If you study real estate for the past 80, 90 years, there's only been about 8 times total that real estate did not go up in value. Like literally 8 times. For anyone who studies sports, by the way, my son and I had this debate last night. LeBron is not the GOAT. MJ is the GOAT. So if you boo,
kick him out. Who?
Yeah.
Kick him out. No.
All right. So yeah. So anyhow, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And you study those 90s Bulls teams, like that is basically how dominant residential real estate has been in the U.S. Like literally 7 losing years compared to 71 or 80 winning years. So the advice would be, are you gainfully employed? Is your income consistent? Do you plan on living in the area for 3 to 5 years? Can you handle the maintenance, right? Because like when you rent and shit breaks, you call your landlord. Now it may take your landlord a week or 2 to fix it, but it's not on you. When you own something that breaks, that's on you to fix. So it's not just being able to cover the principal and interest on your note. It's not just being able to cover taxes and insurance, but can you also cover when something breaks, AC, roof, refrigerator, hot water heater, etc. If you can check yes to all 3 of those and you're comfortable with the payment, by all means, you got to live somewhere, right? So you're either going to move back in with mom and dad, right? Rent a room from a buddy, rent an apartment for $2,500 a month, or you can have a mortgage payment for $2,500 a month. Does that help a little bit? And when it comes to timing, I don't think you time certain things. Like I just don't, I mean, by the time you time it, you're always going to be wrong. You're going to have missed the bottom. Either you bought too soon or you bought too late. So the timing needs to be an internal timing. When you obtain a home loan, it's not a 30-year decision. It's what's the best loan today based on today's market conditions that I can qualify for and afford, because when things change, your income goes up, the global economy changes and mortgage rates go down, you can always refinance your home loan into something different, and that something different could be something better. So I think a common mistake a lot of first-time home buyers make is they think it's a forever decision. No, you're going to own that first home for 5 to 7 years. You're going to have that first mortgage for 3 to 7 years. So you should be thinking of things in like 5-year blocks. So therefore, I'm less worried that, and we just saw this, by the way, if you follow the markets, we saw mortgage rates go from 7 down to 6.5, right back to 7 in a matter of 10 days. Like in a matter of 10 days, that's some crazy volatility. I don't try to time the market. Same thing goes for investing, right? When you're investing, whether it's an IRA, a 401k, an ETF, or a mutual fund, like, no, we dollar cost average that, right? You probably have learned that in your finance class. Same exact thing applies. Do you think I care that my 401k went down $300,000 last week?
That's how much you lost?
Yes. But do you think I care? I'm 46 years old. I can't touch that shit for 13 years.
I touch mine every year.
Well, yeah, because you're irresponsible and you're borrowing it from me.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, but no, I can't. So am I still contributing? I still contribute, right? Because I dollar cost average. Man, I'm not smart enough. I truly am not smart enough to like innovate. I'm a really good, fast follower, right? And I can follow the patterns and I can study success. And I find that success leaves footprints. So I just look for the footprints and I follow right in the footprints of other people who are successful. So that would be my advice to anybody who's like trying to navigate purchasing a home. It would be, as long as you can check those 3 boxes, jump all in. Yes, ma'am. And then yes, sir, right next to her. Oh, I love the question. So you couldn't hear it, but it's when do I think the market's going to crash? She even said the shit hits the fan. And is it going to resemble '08? So I'm going to, full disclosure, this is my first time of running businesses of this type of uncertainty, right? Like I lived through 07, 08, right? I was a young originator with babies and literally like saw two of my employers like evaporate overnight. I had to second guess my career choices. I had to rebuild after losing it all. I know what that looks like, and I know exactly how to navigate that. Whatever's transpiring right now looks nothing like that. So this is a brand new game. We have not seen tariffs in this magnitude since the 1800s, or at least the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I'm old, but I'm not that old. So on that note, I don't think it's going to resemble anything like '08. And I'm not that concerned about it. Yes, sir. You had a question. Yeah. So the question, if it didn't pick up the microphone, has everything to do with what is my personal perception of Dave Ramsey. Is what he teaches outdated? And the answer is it depends, which, by the way, is one of my favorite answers in all of sales. It depends. Like, it depends on so many different factors. Do I think Dave Ramsey is outdated? Yes. Do I think Dave Ramsey is non-innovative? Yes. I mean, you can go read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. That book was probably written when Dave Ramsey was in high school, if not when Dave Ramsey was born. And Dave Ramsey basically teaches those same principles that you could find in that book. However, who is Dave Ramsey's audience, right? If Dave Ramsey's audience is, if you remove the top 10% of income earners, if you remove the bottom 20% of income earners, Dave Ramsey's like, I'm trying to bring common sense knowledge to the 70%. And for the 70%, which, by the way, if you're in this room and you're obtaining a college degree, you're already in the top 30% once you obtain your degree. It probably doesn't speak to you and I, right? It speaks to the people that it's like common sense should say, spend less than you make. Common sense should say, don't overindulge. Pay yourself first. Understand compound interest. If y'all don't know the rule of 72, go learn it. The rule of 72 is pretty simply put. If you want to figure out how often your money doubles, take your annual rate of return, divide it into 72, and then that number is how many years it takes for your money to double, right? Granny gave you $25,000 when she died. Sorry about Granny. Hopefully she lived a long, healthy life. She died. You got 25 grand. You invested it into an ETF or a mutual fund at 9% interest. 9 divided into 72 is 8. Every 8 years, your money will double, right? It's that simple. 8 more years, your 50 becomes 100, 100 becomes 200. Next thing you know, you have $250,000 when you're 50 years old, all because you took Granny's 25 grand and invested at 21 years old. Dave Ramsey teaches that type of stuff, which needs to be taught, but he is speaking to the greater American populace. I think for those of us that are out there trying to earn a couple $100,000 a year, I think we put ourselves in a whole different conversation, at which point it's difficult to scale and run a household, let alone scale and run a business without leverage debt. Like, it's just impossible. So, yes, there's some things within Dave Ramsey that we need to like, oh, thank you so much. But then there's other things where like, gosh, that's pretty simpleton. I will be debt-free and broke. I'd rather be debt-free and wealthy. It may require me to carry more debt for another decade or two. So like you're looking at and meeting a guy, I own 2 homes. Both homes have mortgages on them. Could I pay those homes off? Yes. Would my wife love for me to pay one of them off? Yes. I refuse to. It makes 0 sense because that couple $100,000 that I have on a mortgage is a couple $100,000 I have in the market. That money does way more for me in the market. It makes me more liquid. It makes me more nimble than if I paid off my home. If I paid off my home, do you know how you get money out of your house? You got to sell it, which could take 3 or 4 months, or you got to get a loan from it. But what happens when you go get a loan, but you can't qualify because of some life event and you're like, shit, I need money. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot for me to go liquidate an asset. Within 2 or 3 days, it goes to the clearinghouse and it's sitting in my checking account. So my general answer about Dave Ramsey is yes, to a certain degree, at which point it's no longer for us. Yes, sir, in the back. Best advice ever given to me. It's funny because I give a lot of advice, and I give a lot of advice probably because I didn't seek it or it wasn't given. But I will commend my parents because my parents truly never made me believe that anything was off limits, right? Like I joke that I was dumb enough when someone said to me, you can do whatever you want. I believed them and I still live my life. Like it's not a matter of like, if it's all about how. Hey, cool. The answer is not no. The answer is not now. Or the answer isn't no. The answer is we just had to devise a plan and then let's go ahead and execute on that plan. So I think it wasn't necessarily advice that they gave, but it's more about how my parents lived their lifestyle. I had amazing parents. Like I'm very fortunate for the household that I grew up in. It wasn't fancy. We weren't rich. I mean, my mom drove a school bus. My dad's an electrician, but I had two parents who loved each other and they loved my sister and I, and they made us believe that we could do whatever we wanted and there were no limits. And I think a lot of times our friends and our family are our biggest detriments. They are not our biggest supporters. The number of times that your mom or dad may say, because they love you and they care, oh, I don't know if you should do that. Well, they don't want to see you get hurt. Okay, that's selfish of them, right? Your hurt may be what you need to go to next level, right? They don't want to see you fail. Every failure, I know your kindergarten teacher taught you this, it truly is a first attempt in learning. Like we all fail forward. Every mistake I've made, every $10,000 or $20,000 I've lost, there was a lesson behind there that made me better because of it. So I don't know if I have something that resonates as much as just the belief system that I was raised with. I can do anything. So I would love for all of y'all to know you can do anything. Now, I can't sing well, but I can sing, right? So there's certain things. I can't run fast, but I can run, right? So there's certain things, okay, talent is going to get in the way or resources will get in the way, but I can still compete to the best of my ability, even if it's not at the ability of the elites. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Answer.
Yes, ma'am, in the back. Yeah, so I would, the question was all about how do I get started in real estate investing? And this answer is going to resonate beyond real estate investing. So it's for all of y'all, not just for Maya. I would go learn from somebody who's already doing it. Exchange your time, exchange your energy for knowledge and experience. Like that's why internships are so important. I had 5 of them while at UCF. All 5 of them taught me the same exact thing, what I don't want to do for a living. That's what it taught me, but I also picked up some great contacts and it looked good on my resume. So if you want to get into real estate investing, the first thing I would tell you to do is figure out who in the area that you want to live in, who is doing it well, because you have fix and flip, you have wholesale, you have retail, you have commercial, you have buy and hold, you have wholesaling, and like you may start off door knocking. You may start off putting ugly yellow signs out just to have the permitting police come and rip it out. Like you may start cold calling, but ultimately what do you have to do? In real estate, you make your money when you buy the home. So many people think you make money when you sell the home. No, you make it when you buy it. If you buy it cheap enough, you'll always be able to sell it for a profit. But how do you know if you're buying it cheap enough? Well, you have to know how to value the home. You need to learn how to walk the home and look for deficiencies, right? If you see a crack in the foundation, you need to know that crack probably means X. X costs $19,000 to repair, and it's going to take 90 days to do so because that 90 days goes into your carrying cost, and your carrying cost now adds to your total acquisition cost. So where would I start? Yeah, I would start by working and learning under somebody else and then working my way up, because if not, you could take on some experiences that A, would bankrupt you, and B, unfortunately, here's what happens. Not that it'll bankrupt you. None of y'all should be afraid of bankruptcy. Like none of y'all. You're 20, 21, 22 years old. Okay. You should be afraid of wasting your time because you can't make time up, right? You got it and then you use it, then it's gone. Even at 46, if I went and lost $2 million tomorrow, it would hurt. My wife may divorce me. I may or may not like that. Okay. But at 46, I can work 20 more years. I can make that $2 million back times 5. So I wouldn't be worried about my money or ever going bankrupt per se. I'd be worried about my time. And my fear for anybody is that what if you don't give yourself enough runway? What if something takes 9 months, but you stop at month 6? It took John and I 41 episodes. What if we stopped at episode 24? Right? We wouldn't have been able to do fun stuff like come hang out with y'all. So my answer is honestly, go find somebody that'll let you come work for them, even if it's an internship that you have to work your way up, into getting something paid. Like, so if you're my kid, I feel bad for you because you grew up with this at the dinner table every single night. But my kid right now at 20 is cold calling for a sports management company, like a small startup. He makes no money. He makes 200 outbound solicitations where he's trying to find college players NIL money, or he's trying to find NFL practice players opportunities to try out for other teams, right? But he knows his end goal is maybe one day they'll pay him. His end goal is maybe they'll take him off of the phones and let him get into data analytics, because that's really where he wants to be. So I'd give the same advice I gave him, I'd give you for real estate investing. Now, where do you find the funds? Again, if you expand your network, like if you're in Central Florida, go to the Central Florida REI, Real Estate Investors, join their networking group. Go there and figure out, you'll find people like me who have money, but I don't have time to go find the deal. So if you can find the deal and you can connect with someone like me or someone like Steven in the back, there's a good chance once we underwrite it, maybe we'll fund it for you as long as you give us a cut, right? So there's definitely ways, if you can go out and find the deal, you can find the money. You can join meetups like Central Florida REI, or you can just go work for those that are already doing it and then learn under them. And then once you learn it, you can figure out, do I stay here and work for them full time, or do I go out on my own? So maybe not exactly the answer you were looking for, but hopefully enough to get you pointed in the right direction. Yeah, cool. We have time for one more question. The best investment to do is whatever you're doing. It's whatever you're doing. How many of your peers are actually caring about figuring out what is the S&P 500? What are PE ratios? What's the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund?
Shit, I don't even care. So
correct. Like the best investment, honestly, I wouldn't do a Roth just yet personally, because I tell you to go have more fun. You probably don't have enough money going into it. So go have fun. Go lose a couple $100.
Stock
right?
up in
Like
that 2C.
do something dumb like my kid did when he was 17. This was his strategy. He bought high and sold low. Right? I mean, he bought U.S. oil, COVID hit, and then he freaked out like any young novice would do, and he sold it right away. Had he held on to it, it would have performed just fine, but he had to learn that lesson the hard way. So I would tell you, like, this is like cool uncle talk. I mean, there isn't a best one. Now, fast forward when you're 22, 24, yes, I would tell you, no credit card debt, 6 months reserves, take advantage of your company 401k because typically there's a match. That match is free money. Don't let free money walk. Do the IRA, do Roth if you can. Hopefully you can't, because hopefully you make so much money you can't do a Roth IRA, but there's a thing called a backdoor Roth conversion. You can do a backdoor Roth conversion. And then if you want to play, because you're a degenerate gambler like me, and you choose not to play on the craps table, and you want to play by day trading, have fun. Just anticipate losing more than you win, because more than likely you're not a day trader, and the day traders typically get outperformed by the big hedge fund managers. But you can at least enjoy life, because none of us truly know the purpose of life. Besides, how about this? Be good humans, leave the place better than you found it, and go have fun, right? Life's an adventure. It should be lived, and hopefully you get to live it for 90 years, not 29 years. So make your investing strategy about being safe, being responsible, but also having fun. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Cool? All right. Yeah. How about that?
Wow, you're good at this, Dustin.
Yes. I tell you. So on that note, look, it's 1:02. Y'all have to get to class. For everyone who's just tuned in, thank you so much. That is all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.